Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Elite Clockman here. Episode 39, Part 1 of SKIBIDI Multiverse just dropped, and so did my jaw after watching this hell of an episode. Finally, we get to see Titan Drillman's true form. Bro turned into a giant red mechanical overpowered dragon that took out a Titan-level toilet with one punch. We also witnessed the most brutal and satisfying death in the whole series. Also, it seems like toilets are getting stronger as time passed by. But before we get to all of that, make sure to like and subscribe if you want to have a pet Steve at home. Anyways, here we go. After the credit screen, the episode starts off with the fish-faced toilet holding his ground against Titan Speakerman and Titan Drillman. Titan Speakerman was doing his best to take down the fish face. Bro was giving him lefts and rights, and even made him eat a laser blast in the face. But Fish Face was no ordinary toilet. Not a single Titan at the start of the series could keep up with him. This menace just slammed the Titan, raised his fist and tried to strike the Titan with all its might. The blow was going to be so fast and strong that the Titan had to use his axe guitar and even then struggled to repel the punch. This must be one of the hardest fights the Speakerman ever fought since he isn't used to fighting someone bigger than him. Just look how big Fish Face is compared to the Titan. In order to repel the punch, Titan Speakerman had to use his sonic waves to stun the giant toilet. After that, the Titan flew into the air and launched a full-power sonic blast from the air, making the fish-faced toilet unable to concentrate. The Titan then flew full speed at the toilet and smashed his guitar on the monster's head in the most rock-and-roll way possible, planting Fishface's head in the ground. But the beatdown wasn't done just yet, since my boy Steve pulled a Naruto on the toilet. Titan Drillman's punch was so strong that it knocked the toilet on his feet before making him fall once again. I can definitely tell that this guy was getting the worst beatdown of his life. Fishface started to get back on his feet as Steve was slowly coming out of the ground. Fishface easily blocked the Titan's jaw as he tried to bite his head off and pulled his face down so he can try to slice the Titan with his saws, but the red giant was able to get away from the monster's grip. Shortly after, Fishface pulled out his saws and started to use it as a melee weapon. He tried to cut Steve in half, but the red giant used his drills as a shield. Titan Drillman then tried to drill the toilet, but he blocked the long rods with his tall toy, so Titan Drillman had no choice but to use the other long rod. But what comes next must be the most brutal scene in the show. The massacre looked just like my love life right now. While the fish-faced toilet was holding its ground, Titan Speakerman suddenly emerged from Steve's back, gained the high ground, and blasted the saws away. With nothing to block the drills, Fishface was penetrated by both long rods in the worst way possible. His beautiful scream still echoes in my ears as Titan Drillman used the blood to paint the ground red. Fishface's arm came off in the worst way possible, not quickly slashed away, but slowly torn apart. Titan Speakerman then sat down and let his flying speakers do all the work, knowing well that they have already won the battle. The speakers left the toilet paralyzed due to the extreme pain. But the finish-off was undoubtedly the most brutal part. As Titan Drillman walked the toilet down, he grabbed his head and forcefully tried to open his mouth. You can see the toilet desperately trying to resist, but it was no use. Titan Drillman decided to use his fire breath to roast the giant toilet from the inside. Bro got literally cooked from the inside like the fish he is. But I think Steve overcooked him a little since the toilet cracked and the flesh was turned to ash. They could have given him a peaceful death, but no. The Red Titans decided to be savages and chose violence to the end, making this moment the most painful death in the series. After overcooking his Filet-O-Fish, Titan Drillman roared his heart out as a sign of dominance and victory. But then again, little Steve got a gentle pat from the Titan Speakerman, just like a big brother pat his baby brother, reminding him that no matter how big he is, he will always be the smallest of the pack. And just like a little brother would do, Titan Drillman got the warm hand off him. I think this bond between the two Red Titans is really cute, since they became more like a small family than two best friends as time goes by. So I think that back in episode 37, part 2, Titan Speakerman didn't attack the Red Giant out of anger, but I think he was just showing some love to his Pookie Steve. Suddenly, just as they were about to catch their breath, a giant hand grabbed Titan Speakerman's leg and slammed him like a potato sack to the ground. That thing is dangerous. You can tell how powerful it is just by how big it is, yet still managed to sneak up on two Titans like nothing. This new toilet is as big as Titan Drillman. This giant toilet man was like no other, a monster that can easily overpower the average Titan with ease. This one was known as SKIBIDI Nemesis. As soon as Bro spawned, he decided to do the Titans dirty. Also notice the number 1 on his chest. If you rewind the episode to 33 seconds, you can notice that Fishface had the number 2 written on his neck. There is a high chance that there are other numbered toilets out there, and if one is supposedly stronger than 2, knowing Dom a number 0 must exist somewhere out there. In the next scene, Titan Drillman used his chains to try to toss Nemesis around, but that one was no ordinary SKIBIDI toilet. The red giant wasn't able to even move the toilet an inch, so he tried using his flame breath to damage him even the least. But that thing just pulled out an Astro toilet shield and shook the terrible flames off like they were some candle flames right before using his Iron Man gauntlets to blast Steve in the face. Not only did Nemesis overpower the biggest Titan, but he also pulled an Uno reverse and the most disrespectful one, no less. SKIBIDI Nemesis grabbed the red giant by its chains and started to toss him around light work, and then managed to throw him into the mountain like Titan Pencil Woman threw me out of her room last night. Judging from the giant explosion, this wasn't painless at all. The way he was getting swinged was totally wild, if you ask me. 1 Titan down and 1 left to go. Titan Speaker Man attacked the monster's back from the air, and even managed to dodge the first blast thrown by the Toilet Man. The Giga Chad was going all out on this point, to the point where he used his core laser as a weapon. But Nemesis' shield seemed Astro Toilet to me. And you can go ask my brother Elite Cameraman about those damn Astro shields, near indestructible. After blocking a literal death ray with his hack shield, Nemesis was able to hit the Titan with his blaster gauntlet right before using his right arm to bind the Titan with some kind of slimy rope. After that, Daddy Nemesis smacked Speaker Man with his left blaster before smashing him to the ground just like he slammed Fishface with his guitar. This is what they call karma, I guess. What goes around comes around. But the Hard Rock Titan wasn't done just yet, because as Nemesis was slowly going to finish him off, he used his flying balls to blast him off. But SKIBIDI Nemesis was just him. Not only did those killer sonic waves had no effect on him, he just kept walking the Titan down. Even the tunes of his guitar had no effect on this menace. But Titan Speakerman was a real one and wanted to fight until the end, so he put down the guitar and pulled out the guns. Meanwhile, at the foot of the mountain, an overheating Titan Drillman was struggling to get up. Something's off about the Titan's body. It doesn't look like it's going to explode but transform, yet Steve was in too much pain. Since his body was overheating, Steve had no other choice but to get Chief Drillman out of his body. As soon as the core ship reached the ground, Drilly Pookie Daddy came to check on Steve. He then explained that this Titan body was getting rusty and too old to keep fighting. Steve could no longer restrain his own powers. If he wanted to continue the fight, Bro had to unleash his true form. And let me tell you, this was magnificent. And just like that, Steve began to transform by unleashing his true powers. For the first time in the series, we will see the true Titan Drillman. As soon as he began to morph, the ground started to shake. Titan Pencil Woman and Titan Cameraman, who were at the border of the base's walls, could feel the immense power rising. Titan Drillman was getting reforged inside his own energy flames as wings started to come out. Titan Drillman slowly began to crawl out of the flame as his power rises with every passing minute. And Bro doesn't waste time. Just as Nemesis was about to finish Titan Speakerman, True Form Steve began to activate his supersonic fists and then punched Nemesis into the wall. The same thick wall that the Alliance would have a hard time destroying was penetrated by a flying Nemesis. That hit was so strong that the giant toilet was still flying inside the wall, and even landed at Titan TV Man's feet, proving just how strong the true Titan Drillman is. You can see how shocked Blood was, since such a feat is practically impossible, even for a Titan. A terrifying demon dragon crawled out of the hole in the wall. This was the true Titan Drillman, a ferocious dragon ready to burn everything and everyone in his path. Even his roar became more ferocious. Bro came a long way, from being a dwarf to a giant, and now to a literal demon dragon. Nemesis tried to get up, but the blow was so strong that it broke his jaw. But this was the least of his worries, as a monster Drillman was charging at him, ready to tear this ugly face apart. And that's the end of this episode. I really wish to see more of the numbered toilets in the new Titan drillman, but for that we have to wait another week. That's fine, I guess. After all, we Clockmen belong to Ty, and time belonged to us. We have reached the end of this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. See you guys next time.